This device is a low pressure blower which will suck the flue gas from a coal-fired and or a gas-fired power plant. And it just pulls the gas in, and then we go to a low pressure compressor, which we have here. It pressurizes the gas so we can pump it through the membrane up to 1 to 2 psi. Very low pressure, and it will allow us to push the gas through the membrane. If we have to cool it, this is an aftercooler, and it would cool the gas down so that we can feed it through the membrane. Right now, we think the membrane plant can handle somewhere between up to 150 degrees Celsius air. We are starting out the process somewhere between 50 and 100 degrees Celsius for the air. After the compressor, it goes through these industrial sized vessels right here. We have 6 of them. This particular plant with all the gear here can process 1 to 2 tons a day of CO2, and we would take the CO2 from the power plant, concentrate the gas up, whether it's from a coal-fired plant or a gas-fired plant, up to 60 to 70% using spiral wound membranes in these vessels. These vessels are 8 inches in diameter, and again, this would take the flue gas, and this particular plant is ready to go to the field and can process as much as 1 to 2 tons of 60 to 70% CO2. The process will remove 90% of the gas and will concentrate it up to 60 to 70%. So the flue gas, we can remove 90% of it, and we will convert it to a feed that will go to our next process, which is the microwave plasma process. The gas is pressurized up to 1 to 2 psi and is pushed through the pressure vessels, and under vacuum the gas is pulled through the membrane, and that's how we concentrate it up to 60 to 70%. The membrane is selective for CO2 versus nitrogen. The amount of vacuum we have to pull is relatively modest. It's somewhere between 22 and 25 inches. The gas is pulled under vacuum, and it exits. It'll be concentrated and recovered out of this device here. That gas will be the right concentration to go to our microwave plasma, where it will be combined with natural gas and converted into syngas, carbon monoxide and hydrogen. This process is a membrane separation process and uses a spiral wound membrane that is specially designed for us, and this is an industrial size element, and we can make as many of these and deploy as many as is needed for any size power generation plant that exists. Each vessel that we have up here contains 2 of these elements, and as stated, this particular system is capable of 1 to 2 tons of CO2 per day.
What we have here is a basic microwave setup, a laboratory scale to demonstrate the microwave plasma. The basic unit here includes the microwave generator, and here we can make about 3 kilowatts. The rest of this hardware is really just to control the microwaves, and this is the important item right here. This is the plasma applicator. This is where the microwaves convert the gas into plasma. The gas system is everything you see up here. All of this is to introduce the gas. We have carbon dioxide and methane, which we mix. We introduce nitrogen here. This is to create a vortex flow of the gas as it goes down this tube and into this plasma applicator. It's in here that the plasma is formed, and that's where the chemistry occurs. Very, very quickly. The gas passing through here passes through in less than a second. As soon as it passes through here, the gas is converted. In this case, we're converting carbon dioxide and methane into what's called syngas, a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. That gas mixture, which will be warm, will then pass through a cooling circuit, which we have over here in the barrel. You see all the copper tubing behind us. We have a water bath so that all of that warm gas is cooled over there in the barrel. That same system warms up the gas that we're using, the compressed gas cylinders over here. These are the gases that are being supplied to the system. They generally are quite cool coming out of these cylinders. And so we warm that gas up before it gets into the plasma. So our water bath over here uses heat generated in the plasma to warm up the water, to warm up the gas, so that the gas coming in here is warmer than it would normally be. We don't have to waste energy heating up cold gas. What we want to demonstrate is that not only can we operate the chemistry using microwaves, that we can convert carbon dioxide and methane into syngas, but that we can do it much more energy efficiently than by any other method. And so ultimately, knowing where all the energy goes is as important as understanding the chemistry. So being able to control things like waste heat that's being generated here, and being able to use that heat to preheat the gas is an important energy consideration. The important chemistry, of course, it has everything to do with the gas mixtures that we're using. And initially, what we're doing in our first round of work is combining carbon dioxide, which comes in here, and methane, which comes in here. And eventually we'll be looking at other gas mixtures, but right now it's the reformation of carbon dioxide and methane into syngas that's the most important chemistry. In order to do that in our experimental setup, we need to very accurately control all of the gases that are going in, and these are mass controllers. These control here carbon dioxide, and here methane, and here's our swirl gas. So we can very accurately control how much gas goes in, and therefore the gas mixture. The actual mixture will determine the quality of the product that comes out of the plasma applicator. And here, of course, we can explore the full range of gas mixtures, and we can measure the actual result that it has on the plasma and ultimately on the syngas that's produced. Because we're interested eventually in knowing where all the energy goes, we need to be able to measure the temperatures everywhere in the system, particularly around the gas system. And for that reason, we have instrumented our whole apparatus with temperature probes. Here, for example, we can measure the temperature of the gas, the nitrogen gas coming into the vortex swirl generator. Here we can measure the temperature of the carbon dioxide gas, and here we can measure the temperature of the methane gas. And similarly, we are measuring temperatures of the exhaust gas after we cool it and so forth. We can then determine where the energy is going in this gas. We measure the temperature coming in, temperature going out. Because we know the flow rates, we have the ability to monitor where all of the energy is going. What we have here is our little tank farm. This is where we do all of our temperature control, and all of this piping, of course. Every gas line, the carbon dioxide, the methane, and the nitrogen, they all come over here, and those gases are warmed up in this water bath. The water bath is warmed up by the gas coming out, the syngas coming out of our plasma reactor, and this is where we cool that gas down. Eventually, that gas comes out here, and it's cool enough that we can put it into a plastic sample bag, which is what this tubing is all about. And you see, we can actually measure the temperature of the syngas as it comes out of our cooler, and so we know the temperature of the whole system at the end. And this is a very important part of our ability to capture waste heat from the plasma. The part that one has to appreciate, of course, is that the microwaves are invisible. And inside this plasma reactor is a tube which actually contains the plasma. And because it's inside, it also is invisible. So we're dealing with invisible gases and invisible energy. So from an outside point of view, it looks pretty unimpressive. Nothing's moving. The whole system stays cool. And you wouldn't know that there's chemistry going on because there are no moving parts. But the important chemistry is occurring inside the plasma tube, which is inside this device. This whole system is contained so that the microwaves never leave the system. This system is perfectly leak-proof. There is less leakage from this system than, for example, a kitchen microwave oven. So that the microwaves are completely contained in this whole apparatus, and that would be true, of course, in a scaled-up version of this. This whole system can scale up to handle very large volumes of gas, much larger power levels. But same thing is true. The microwaves are completely contained in a closed system, so that they never present a danger to either the operator or to the environment.